determined by the laws of gravity. When enough of these watercourses converge in a form that pulses and recedes, but does not cease, we call the convergence a river. In the mud along the banks of the river, mud dappled by the paw prints of bears, were remnants not just of the forests and the mountains, but of people I had loved and admired, and their remnants also arrived there, having been transfigured by flame to ash. The river drew its shape from volcanic upheavals 35 million years ago, and for untold millennia, creatures have gone about their mysterious business along its floodplain and in the substrate of its waters. Some of the mysteries have been revealed to us, thanks to people who make it their business to interpret them. I spent time with a team of biologists in the river that summer, wading hip-deep in the big pools, watching their stream dance as they high-stepped with dip nets and seine nets and hauled up fish to measure and count before returning them to the water unharmed. They spoke of things they had learned, for instance how native loach minnows excavate a pocket beneath a flat rock and cobble. There the female lays her eggs for the male to fertilize. Being buoyant, the eggs adhere to the bottom of the rock. The male acts as the lookout over his progeny, cleaning away any fungus that attaches to the eggs and warding off insect predators and bottom-feeding desert suckers, until the eggs hatch and another generation takes its place in the weave of life that constitutes the river. A threat hung over all this. Another reason I went to the river. The threat appeared in the form of a concrete diversion dam that, if built, would put an end to the upper Gila River as a living entity. I wanted to find solace and strength in nearness to my friend John, a forest guardian while he lived, and my inspiration Ella Jazz, a river guardian while she lived, each of whom had gone before me in ash down the river. John after falling to his death beneath his horse, Ella Jazz after dying with her friends in the fiery wreckage of a plane. I wanted to hear, if I could, not just the voice of the river, but the voices of my friend and inspiration, each of whom had known a thing or two about countering hubris and greed with logic and poetry. I wanted to pay homage to their memory as I rejoined the work of defending that sinuous green valley of beauty from any attempt to defile it. I wanted to assure them that we continued to speak up for the array of life that made the river sing. The yellow-billed cuckoo, and the willow flycatcher, and the spiked ace minnow, and the narrow-headed garter snake. In contrast to the bureaucrats, engineers, and county commissioners, who uttered not an honest word in favor of the creatures that depended on the river, but instead sang hymns of praise to concrete berms, quanda screens, grouted boulder wares, and prefabricated booster stations. I wanted to see the river as it was and always had been, aware that men with power dreamed its death was nigh. Knowing I could stand a measure of frivolity amid my fear for the river and the obligations I felt to it and the dead, I called my friend the Swede and confirmed I was welcome for a visit to his lonely redoubt up a canyon in the headwaters. There I would be far enough upstream to have early warning were the river to rise and make feasible a float trip by boat. I took down a grocery list for the both of us, and, provisioned for 3 weeks, set off on a drive ending beyond 2 locked gates and 9 stream crossings. "It's good to see you moving about," he said, as I hauled my coolers full of food onto the porch of the bunkhouse. "I thought you might have been lost forever down in the desert with your dubious hips and your shattered illusions." Like others who are part of the story, the Swede was the sort who broke the mold. For as long as I had known him, he had spent his summers loafing about the Eagle Rock Ranch like some reprobate Buddha, babbling the days away, alternating between profundity and nonsense, although where one ended and the other began was not always clear. Occasionally he tired of his own voice and assumed a vow of silence. "I'm back in rehab," he would mutter, before retreating to